Hello my dear students, welcome back to day 80 of 99% in 99 days. So today we are going to solve sample paper 7 in which I'll be discussing the chemistry solutions. Okay, so I hope all of you would have downloaded the question paper. It is available in our WhatsApp channel. So please join the WhatsApp channel, link will be there in the description section. Join there, attempt the question paper and then come and watch this video to understand the solutions. So let's move and discuss about the question pattern. So there is like one small mistake here, one second. There are 8 1-marker questions which will give you 8 marks, and there is one 2-marker question which will give you 2 marks. In 3-marker there will be 2 questions which will give you 6 marks, 5-marker 1 question giving you 5 marks, and 4-marker 1 question giving you 4 marks. Okay. Now let's see section A. So question is like this: when 2 ml of sodium hydroxide solution is added to few pieces of granulated zinc in a test tube. Okay, so what we have added? Zinc plus sodium hydroxide, right? And then warmed. The reaction that occurs can be written in the form of a balanced chemical equation as. Okay, so you know this one will produce what? Metal plus base will give you salt plus hydrogen gas. So wherever water is produced, just eliminate those options. Okay, hydrogen gas will be produced. Now if you see the balancing, 2Na, we have here 1 zinc, 1 zinc. Now talking about hydrogen, we have 2H here and 2H here. We have 2H here. Okay, I think both the options are given correct. Okay, so just any B and C both will be correct because both the options are same. Okay, so you can write either B or C. Okay, next question: select from the following a decomposition reaction in which the source of energy for decomposition is light. Means it is talking about photochemical decomposition. We know AgBr will give you Ag plus Br2 in presence of light. So option number C here. Next, a metal and a non-metal that exist in the liquid state at room temperature are. So metal which exists in the liquid state, we all know it is mercury, and non-metal which includes is the bromine, right? So option number C here. Next, carbon compounds are good conductors of electricity, bad conductors of electricity, have strong forces of attraction between their molecules, have weak force of attraction between their molecules. Correct statements are, okay. So generally carbon is a non-metal, so it is a bad conductor of electricity, but it has an exception of graphite, right? So you can see here, in general carbons are bad conductors of electricity, and because they form covalent compounds, so they have weak forces of attraction. So 2 and 4, that is option number C. Now consider the following compounds: FeSO4, CuSO4, CaSO4 and Na2CO3. The compound having the maximum number of water of crystallization. So if you know this one, water of crystallization, Na2CO3 has 10 molecules of water of crystallization. That is the highest, so correct answer is option number D. Next, oxides of aluminium and zinc are. So we know aluminium oxides are amphoteric, option number C. Next, the reaction mentioned given below is a redox reaction because. So this is a very most repeated question, I can say. See, MnO2, MnCl2, oxygen is removed. So this is undergoing what? Reduction. Now if you see HCl and Cl2, hydrogen is removed. So this is undergoing oxidation. So I can say that MnO2 is oxidized, no. HCl is oxidized, yes. MnO2 is reduced, yes. Okay, MnO2 reduced and HCl is oxidized, yes. So the question is asking, why is it a redox reaction? In a redox reaction, both oxidation and reduction should take place simultaneously, right? So MnO2 is reduced and HCl is oxidized, that is why it is a redox reaction. Next, coming to assertion reason, hydrogen gas is not evolved when zinc reacts with nitric acid. That is correct. Nitric acid is a very strong oxidizing agent, right? So whatever H2 is produced, that gets converted to water. So assertion is true. Now nitric acid oxidizes the hydrogen gas produced to water and itself get reduced. So both are correct and it is explaining. So option number A. Now moving to 2-marker question. Name the type of chemical reaction in which calcium oxide reacts with water. justify your answer by giving a balanced equation for the chemical reaction. So if you tell the type of the reaction, that is 1 mark, and if you write the balanced chemical equation, that will carry 1 mark. So let us see the reaction here. So calcium oxide reacts with water to give you calcium hydroxide plus heat, right? So now if you see, this is an exothermic reaction because heat is produced, and 2 compounds are reacting to give you 1 compound, so it is also a combination reaction. Then you have to write the balanced equation here. So the type of chemical reaction is exothermic combination reaction. When calcium oxide, that is quicklime, reacts with water, calcium hydroxide, slaked lime is formed and heat is released. Okay, very simple question. Now moving to 3-marker question. Write one chemical equation for the chemical reaction in which a change in color has taken place. This is very important question. Write one chemical equation for the chemical reaction in which there is change in temperature and in which there is precipitate formation has taken place. Okay, so these are the different indicators of a chemical reaction to take place, right? There is either gas is produced, phase is changed, or color change, or some temperature change, right? So you can write color change. One reaction is copper carbonate will give you copper oxide plus CO2. So is this one. So here if you see, copper carbonate is green in color. Okay, when you heat it, it changes to copper oxide, which is black in color. So there is a color change. So that is why this can be a reaction for color change. Next, for heat or for temperature change, you can react calcium oxide with water. You will get calcium hydroxide plus heat. Okay, the temperature will change. So you can see the reaction releases heat, causing the rise in temperature. And the third one was precipitation formation. So Na2SO4 plus BaCl2, there will be double displacement reaction. You will get barium sulfate plus sodium chloride. A white precipitate of barium sulfate is formed in this reaction. Okay. Next moving to another 3-marker question here. The pH of a sample of tomato juice is 4.6. How is this juice likely to be in taste? Give reason to justify your answer. So now you see, it is pH is 4.6, that means below 7, that means it is acidic in nature, and we know that acidic substances are having sour taste, right? Next, how do we differentiate between a strong acid and a weak base in terms of ion formation in aqueous solution? So a strong acid will, what will happen? It will dissociate completely and will give you more number of ions. A weak base will dissociate weakly and or partial dissociation, and less number of ions will be formed. Next, the acid rain can make the survival of aquatic animals difficult. How? So when acid rain takes place, okay, so water is now acidic. The pH of the water changes. So every human being or every organism needs a optimum pH for survival, but due to the acid rain, the pH of the water changes, and that is why it is difficult for the aquatic animals to survive. Let's see the answers here. The taste of tomato juice will be slightly sour. The pH value of 4.6 indicates that the tomato juice is acidic, and as substances with a pH less than 7 are acids, so acids are typically sour in taste. Right? That was the first question. Next question was, a strong acid ionizes completely in water. You can give an example of HCl, and a weak base ionizes partially in water. You can give an example of a weak base. Now coming to acid rain lowers the pH of the water bodies, making the water acidic. This affects the aquatic life because it damages the gills of the fish, the organ through which they breathe, right, and other aquatic organisms. Now it reduces the availability of essential minerals by dissolving the toxic metals like aluminium. Okay, so these acids in water also dissolves the toxic metal. So these fish or the aquatic organisms could not get that metals for themselves because it is already dissolved. Okay. Next we'll go to 5-marker question. Define a homologous series of carbon compounds. Very easy question. Why do we not see any gradation in the chemical properties of homologous series? Write the name and structure of aldehyde and ketone with the molecular formula C3H6O. So this is very simple. Part A, it will carry 3 marks. So homologous series, you know, having the same functional group differing by a CH2 unit. Okay, that is called homologous series. Why do we not see any gradation, means any change in the chemical properties? Because they have similar functional groups. They have the same functional group, not similar. They have the same functional group, so that is why there is no change in the chemical properties. Next, write the name and structure. So aldehydes and ketones, you know, C3H6O. So aldehyde I can write like this, CH3 CH2 COH, and then ketone CH3 CO CH3. Okay, now coming to B, write the name and structure of an organic compound X having 2 carbon atoms in its molecule and its name is suffixed with OL. Okay, OL suffix is there, means it is an alcohol group. So write the name and structure of an organic compound X having 2 carbon in its molecule and its name is suffixed with OL. So we can write like this, 2 carbon, right? So I can write CH3 COH and H2. Okay, what happens when X, so this is my X. Okay, so what happens when X is heated with excess of concentrated sulfuric acid at 443 Kelvin? Write the chemical equation for the reaction stating the conditions for the reaction. Also state the role played by the concentrated sulfuric acid in the reaction. Okay. So lengthy question. So first of all, what happens when X is heated with excess of concentrated sulfuric acid? You have to write dehydration takes place and alkene is formed. You have to write the statement. Then you have to write the chemical equation for that. Next, also state the role played by the concentrated. So concentrated sulfuric acid is behaving here as a dehydrating agent. Okay. Next, we have name and draw the electron dot structure of the hydrocarbon produced in the above reaction. Okay, the ethene, you will get ethene, so you have to draw the structure of ethene. Okay, but okay, how is this mark distributed? Let me check. 1 second. Okay, so this is 1 or question. You can either attempt this whole question, you will get 5 marks, or this whole question and you will get 5 marks. Okay, fine. So first question, we'll see what is a homologous series. So as I've already told you, homologous series is a group of organic compounds that share the same general formula and exhibit similar chemical properties. Each successive member of a series differ by a CH2 group. Okay, so you can see alkanes is having CnH2 and alkenes, alcohols, you can give any one example. Now why they have similar properties? Because their functional group is C, right? That is why they have similar chemical properties. Next, coming to formula, this is of propanol you will get, and you will get acetone, okay, from the formula C3H7O. Right, C3H6O. So this is the first part. For the B part or for the OR part, the compound here is ethanol. Okay, your X is ethanol. Now when it is treated with concentrated sulfuric acid at 443 Kelvin, you will get ethene. This is what you have to write down. Reaction you have to write down. Okay, this is temperature and the conditions. The temperature is 443, excess of concentrated sulfuric acid. What is the role? It is acting as a dehydrating agent. Next, what you have to do? The hydrocarbon produced is ethene and the electron dot structure. So electron dot structure I will do here. 1 second. You can see the electron dot structure is like this. This is 2 carbons. Okay, so they have double bond. Then you have H, okay, then you have H, okay. Similarly, you have H here, you have H here, here there is bond, here there is bond, okay. This is the electron dot structure. Next, moving to 4 marker question, here we have the metal produced by various reduction process are not very pure. They contain impurities which must be removed to obtain pure metals. The most widely used method for refining impure metals is your electrolytic refining. Now, what is the cathode and anode made of in the refining of copper by this process? So, if you remember, we take the impure metal as anode, okay, and pure copper metal as cathode, right? name the solution used in the above process and write its formula. So you can use any copper salt, you can use copper sulfate, and the formula is like this. How does copper gets refined when the electric current is passed in the electrolytic solution? So what happens when you pass electricity? The copper from the anode comes to the solution and pure copper get deposited at the cathode, right? So let us see here. So at cathode that is pure copper, at anode there is impure copper. Next we have what is the solution? You have used acidified copper sulfate solution or CuSO4. What is the process? When electric current is passed through the electrolytic cell, what exactly happens? Copper ions from the solution are reduced at the cathode, depositing pure copper. At the anode, impure copper oxidizes, releasing Cu2 plus ion into the solution. So it is like this. See, if you have a, okay, so you have copper 2 plus solutions in the solution, and from the anode the impure copper 2 plus first comes to the solution. Now this solution goes towards the cathode and get deposited there. Okay. So yes students, this is what the solutions of chemistry solutions of sample paper 7, and I hope that all of you would have solved it. If you have any doubt in any question, do not forget to comment down, I'll definitely address it. And thank you for watching, and do not forget to subscribe the channel as well.